1, a 2, a 1.
It's time for the Better Horses radio show. So let's saddle up and ride as we explore the Western way of life, horses and cows, family and friends, a relationship with the land, and a relationship with God. It's all here on Better Horses Radio. Now let's hit the trails with the Better Horses team.
And welcome to Better Horses. Love that music playing. I think that banjo, you're getting much better on that, Merle.
You know, thanks for noticing. We've gotten a lot of comments, and I appreciate those.
Yeah. So glad you could join us. Welcome to Better Horses. 1 hour talking about farming, talking about horses. And we got one heck of a lineup for you. I got to tell you, I'm excited about this show. Coming in on our first guest, we're going to have Jason Perry at Perry Quarter Horses. Hey, Merle, he's from Leota, Kansas. And I got to tell you, this guy has a breeding program. He has a training program. If you're looking for horses and you want to know where to go and get right into the AQHA ranching, this is the guy to look at.
Yes, he is. We're also going to talk to Steve Cook. He's the owner of Cook Feed and Outdoors, and be talking about the feed industry. He's reporting, I think he's in a meeting up in Minnesota at Cargill. So we'll check in with him. We're also going to visit just a little bit with Carrie Wilson, the director of the Missouri State Fair Foundation. So that fair's right around the corner. We're pretty excited to be at the fair.
Missouri State Fair coming August 8th through the 18th in Sedalia, Missouri. That's going to be a lot of fun. Okay, so here's what's really going to be interesting. We've got Mark Jenkins. He's a professional horseman. Now, he's going to be reporting from Cedar Island, North Carolina. And what's really kind of fun about this, that the Corolla wild horses are still out there. Now, this is like the Spanish Mustangs that are roaming free. Merle, they are literally feral out there in the Outer Banks. And, you know, everybody doesn't know how they happen, but there's 100 of these Mustangs out there, all abandoned. And, but we think the Spaniards came out there and they just kind of like were trading with the Native Americans, or they just basically shipwrecked and the horses swam over to the island. We're not sure exactly what happened, but anyway, so we're going to hear Mark Jenkins come to us, and they're going to talk to us everything about what it's like to be next to those feral horses. So with that in mind, let's go over to Mark Alpold, who's going to give us an update on Better Cattle. Mark, tell us what's going on out there.
Well, Ed, we are on the road this week. Nothing to do with Better Cattle, but just kind of an interesting note here. We're in DeWitt, Iowa. It's in the eastern part of the state, very eastern part, just north of the Quad Cities. And here as guests of Michelin Tires, their Michelin Road Show, going a couple of days here near DeWitt. Interesting how the inflation on your tires can make a huge difference to productivity. Not going to go into detail on that, but boy, they have some live demonstrations where same tractor, same model, same speed, pulling the same piece of equipment, and one tractor, the tires are underinflated, the other tractor tires are inflated and perfect to where they should be, and the tires that are on the tractor with the proper inflation will be 30, 40, 50 feet ahead of the other tractor by the time they get to the end of the field. And when you add, thousands of acres, these folks can say you can literally cut days off of your production time. So anyway, very, very interesting. But we are still watching this market. This feeder cattle market continues to be a tough one to figure out, but analysts that I visit with look for a range-bound trade here through the end of July and into early August, really. Now, to be helpful to our viewers and listeners, we're watching October feeder cattle, 262.5 on the upside. They break through that. That would be very positive. But 253.5 on the downside would need to hold here from here. We do see active bidding at auctions that continue. Early week corn trade, December above the 415 level, could put a bit of a damper on the feeder cattle sales as they look at their break-evens. We've wondered for a while if corn and meal had been gone down too far too fast. Again, early week price action would lead us to confirm that might be the case. Somewhat the same in feeder cattle. A lot of negative reaction to the cattle on feed report we think was already factored in prior to that report last week. And so this early week rebound could be kind of a head fake, and a lower trend could be kicking in our view. So keep an eye on that. Speaking of corn, by the way, USDA and private crop scouts are out and about here this week, and they'll be next week collecting in-field surveys for the August 12th crop report. August, always an important month because it is the first crop report based on actual in-field surveys, not computer models and baseline yields. That'll do it for this week. I'm Mark Oppold, wishing you a profitable week ahead.
Thank you, Mark. We always appreciate everything you do for better horses and better cattle. Hey, Merle, I want everybody to stay with us. We're going to have this really exciting episode coming up to you and a lot of segments. I'm Ed Adams.
And I'm Merle Arbo.
And we'll be right back right after these messages.
Get quality you can stand on. Hoof Grip is the proprietary formula that provides shock absorption for your animals with no ice buildup, slipping, cracking, or sogginess, making it the safest, most comfortable, and maintenance-free flooring on the market. Hoof Grip installs quickly and easily over existing surfaces, is easy to clean, and withstands extreme heat or cold. From vet offices to barns, wash racks to trailers and more. Visit hoofgrip.com to find a dealer in your area today.
We're here for the hardworking, the resilient. We're for the people who measure their days by what needs to get done, not by hours. Where kids learn responsibility at a young age and generations work side by side. Where work doesn't pause for holidays or bad weather. It just gets harder. Where value and hard work means more than the clothes you wear. We're Kleinschmidt's Western Store, Higginsville, Missouri.
Routine dental examination and treatments are essential for high-quality horse care. To prevent potential problems, a horse's mouth should be examined at least once a year. I'm Dr. Chris Blevins, Equine Field Service Veterinarian at Kansas State University Veterinary Health Center. We can examine the mouth and provide a treatment plan to meet the needs of each client and their horse. Visit us at ksvhc.org, the Veterinary Health Center, to discover, to teach, to heal.
And welcome back to Better Horses. We do appreciate you joining us. And as we always let everyone know, we have very excited to bring in the best of the best around the country. If you're ever looking for a horse, I want to tell you this is our next segment that we're going to talk about, the guy who's coming on board. And this segment is brought to you by the Kansas State University College of Veterinary Medicine. So since 1983, Harry Quarter Horses has been breeding, raising, and training AQHA performance horses. And I am thrilled to be having Jason Perry coming to us here with this segment for 35 years of experience in training horses from start to finish. Now, Jason is one of those rare trainers that is very versatile enough to take a horse through the entire spectrum. He adapts the training process to suit each horse, individual needs and talents, and he truly trains them to be trained. So he's a fourth generation cattle rancher out there in Western Kansas. And Jason, welcome to Better Horses.
Thank you, guys.
Hey, we appreciate now this is pretty exciting for us because you have literally been breeding and training horses for a long time. And when I heard the fourth generation cattle ranch, you've been out there for a long time, since 1983. How's that progressed throughout the years?
It's progressed really good. Of course, you've had to change times, learn the new stuff, that kind of thing. Just like horses, cattle, learning how, adapt to the rain, adapt to no rain. Kind of like with horses, with talent and stuff, you got to adapt to be able to train different styles of horses, which has really helped me out with where I'm at today.
You have a passion for horses, which I think is great, but you got a quality breeding program that you've started way back when. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, we used to raise like the foundation stuff, and it's amazing how they have changed. The new bloodlines have really helped the old foundation stuff, more minds, more athletics. But why we keep going with the foundation stuff, because we like the bone, so they hold up. That's the only reason really why I keep the foundation in. It's amazing what these horses can do nowadays.
Oh, it's just fascinating. And what I like about bringing you on our radio show from nationwide, people are always looking for a good bloodline. You're located in Leota, Kansas. Did I say that correctly? And you've been there for a while?
Yes, I've been here 51 years. So yes, I've been here for a long time.
It's amazing that these guys, finding you out there, you're in the middle of the heartland. But Jason, I always regret this, but every really talented trainer out there has always had an experience or a journey with Ray Hunt. And I think you've done the same. Is that correct?
Yes, I met Ray when I was a sophomore in high school. Actually, I quit riding for my 7th grade year. I went into sports and everything and quit riding. And one day Dad said, "Hey, we're going to a Ray Hunt clinic." I said, "Okay." Didn't know the man, nothing. And I had a great relationship with him pretty much up until Ray wasn't around no more.
Right. Exactly. So you've been training AQHA performance horses. We want all our listeners to understand that these are performance horses. And what is your technique in training them once you breed them? I'm sure you're from start to finish, you're going all the way. At what point do you put them up for sale? And at what point do you try to match the rider and the horse together?
We actually put them up for sale even when they're on the mares yet. They're for sale pretty much from day one until, well, I never get to ride anything over 5 unless we're going to keep them. They're usually gone by the time they're 2.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Everybody asks me, I sell the cream of the crop. I sell everything. I don't hold nothing back for me, because how I look at it is, why not let everybody have whatever they want? So I don't hold anything back. I ride, everything. I want other people to have the good ones too.
Okay, so knowing that you had Ray's teachings back there, and we talked a little bit about your training philosophy. So let's go into that. Talk to me about your clinics and the cowboy camps that you have.
The cowboy camps are really cool because people can come in, like say 5 of them, 5, ladies or 5 guys or whatever that hangs out together. They can come as a group, and I set the clinic up to what they want to do. It's not about me. I want them to get the best experience that they can get. So if they want to work on reining, we work on reining. If they want to work on cattle, we work on cattle. If they want to go ride on the ranch and do trail classes out on the ranch and stuff, that's what we do. I kind of set it up kind of like my horse program is, I'm here to benefit you guys. So you tell me what you want and we'll go with it.
That's a great philosophy. If you're just joining us, we're talking to Jason Perry at Perry Quarter Horses. Now, he's located right in the middle of Kansas. I say the middle of Kansas. Leota, Kansas is where he's located. Been there for 4 generations at a cattle ranch. And Jason is walking us through his training program. And Jason, talk to me about the type of people that you're getting in your clientele. Are these primarily in the Midwest, or are you getting all over the country here?
Actually, we get them all over the country, from Kansas to Louisiana to Florida. I've kind of brought in a lot since I'm so versatile. I do versatility ranch horse competitions. I do cow horse. I even get them ready for roping. I quit the roping side competition wise, but I get them to the point that they can take them and go on with them. So yeah, we pull in people from all over the place. Like we have horses in, 15, 20 states too that we've sold. So that's great too.
So I want everybody to point to your website, which is perryquarterhorses.com. And you do list out your stallions. So you have a pretty good bloodline that you've been working on.
Yes. The Cat's Royal Boone. He's our older stud. He was actually my first horse I trained for cow horse. Went through that process. My wife showed him for 10 years, 9 years, somewhere in there. Then I bought Bet He's a Cat, showed him as a fraternity horse. And then I bought a Spook and Boone, which is out of a Gray Starlight and a Once in a Blue Boone. And with that, all those crosses together, I am developing the kind of horse I think I like.
There you go.
And I think the people are going to like it too.
And Jason, can you tell me, do you teach the reining and the versatility and the working ranch side and the roping and all that, right off the bat? Is that how you approach it?
Yes. For say I go through my yearlings, I work them, groundwork them, turn them out for a while. Then when I bring in the 2-year-old, when they come in as 2-year-olds, I go through the groundwork again, get them started. Then within like 3 days, I'm out on the ranch with them, just letting them be who they are, trying to figure out what they want to be. So I'm messing with everything from, just moving cattle, just trying to let the horses tell me where they want to go instead of making them go in a certain discipline.
I really like that. So you don't have a cookie cutter type approach to every horse. You basically are versatile enough that you kind of highlight their strengths and go from there.
Yes. I mean, horses are like humans. None of us is identical. I don't have a set program. I do have a program, but it's not the same for every horse. So I kind of, go through everything, and then I let them show me their strength, and then I go with that.
Well, that's fantastic. Jason, we want to thank you for coming on board. I want to also include some of the people that are backing you up, Buckeye Nutrition and Elite Equine Veterinarian Services out there, because when they're in the middle of Kansas, they are very vital to your program.
My sponsors are really good for me. I mean, I couldn't do it. I can't, you have to have a team between vets, shearers, wives, everybody. You've got to have a great team and be dedicated and committed to do this.
And the fact that you mentioned our wives is so important, and it'll probably get us at least a good dinner tonight because you did that. So CJ has been your backbone. I know that. Jason, I want to tell you, I appreciate everything you're doing with the industry. I invite nationwide listeners to check out this website, perryquarterhorse.com. And Jason, we really appreciate you coming on board. Keep doing what you're doing, and we hope to have you come back here on Better Horses.
I appreciate it, and thank you guys.
All right. So, Merle, we're going to take a break. I'm Ed Adams.
And I'm Merle Arbo.
And we'll be right back right after these messages. And welcome back to Better Horses. We appreciate you guys staying with us. I want to tell you this next segment is brought to you by our great sponsor of Heritage Tractor. Our John Deere dealer is located in Kansas, Missouri, and Arkansas. If you're needing any farm, construction, or lawn and garden needs, check out Heritage Tractor. Hey, Merle, I got a guy on our line here, and he is truly an entrepreneur. His name is Steve Cook. He's owner of Cook Feeds and Outdoor, located in Oklahoma, and he's got 4 locations out there. And he's going to be reporting us from Minnesota and talking about the industry. And so we've had him on before, and I think you and I have talked about, let's get a different perspective on the equine industry.
Yeah, this will be great. I'm looking forward to this segment.
So with that in mind, from Oklahoma, reporting to us from Minnesota, I'd like to introduce Steve Cook, owner of Cook Feeds and Outdoor. Steve, thanks for joining Better Horses.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. It's fun to talk to you guys about the horse industry. That's the main part of our business. So I'm always happy to talk about it.
I have to compliment you. Now, with 4 locations in the Oklahoma area, you're going against those big box stores, and you do an incredibly good job on service. And including one of those services, you're always looking to improve your business. So you're reporting to us from Minnesota over there at Cargill. Walk us through what's going on in the meetings up there.
Yeah, so we have it's all of the C-suite people from Cargill bring in a bunch of independent dealers from around the country, from different types of dealerships. So you've got some people that have very large co-ops that handle cattle business, and other people that have large poultry farms around them, and different aspects of the feed industry. So obviously we represent a very large portion of the equine community in the kind of Midwest. And so we're here kind of telling them what they can do better as a business, what kind of products we're looking for, what kind of support we want in a manufacturer.
So coming out of the pandemic and you surviving that very well, compliments to you. I mean, that's really skyrocketed your business. What can they do to improve the independent feed dealer? And what are some of the challenges as an independent feed dealer that you have?
Support on sales and dealing with farms. Each horse owner has very different business from other horse owners. So you might go to a reining farm and they have an issue with a certain feed or a certain supplement or a problem in their nutrition program. And then you go to a thoroughbred racehorse customer and they need all of their horses to gain weight. And then you go to a different, a hunter jumper farm, and they might want something totally different. So having a sales team that can help us with issues with nutrition and things like that is something that we're always asking for, because a horse customer always has different issues and problems that they're needing help solve.
And one of the neat things I think about Cook Feed and Outdoor is you offer a wide variety of feeds. You're not just a Nutrena dealer or a Purina dealer. You carry many different types. Can you tell us kind of how that evolved and why you decided to carry all those?
Sure. We like to kind of compare ourselves to, if you are in the fitness space, obviously you would go to a specialist for some sort of supplement. So perhaps you go to GNC, it might be an example that we all know of, where of course GNC competes with Walmart in that they both sell vitamins and minerals and maybe some protein and stuff like that. But if you're serious about the fitness industry, you would want to go seek out an expert to find what you're needing. And so that's how we've kind of positioned ourselves in the feed industry. Is certainly we sell a lot of similar products to Tractor Supply or Atwoods or some large box stores, but that's not their business. Their business is to get numbers in the door to sell them clothing or other stuff like that. We are a feed store for performance horses, so we cater our business around what a commercial farm might need or somebody that has performance horses. So our feed choices reflect that. So we have many different brands, and we have at any given time over 70 or 80 different types of horse feed.
We just had Jason Perry for Perry Quarter Horses on from Leota, Kansas, and he's literally out in the middle of nowhere. And I can't tell you how important it is for the independent feed dealers to really service that environment, or in those people that just can't get into the city and don't have the conveniencies of the big box stores right next to them.
Sure, it's a challenge. We have customers that are hours away. A lot of people don't know this, but a huge part of our business is actually bulk feed, and so the feed is loaded onto a semi. It's driven, sometimes hours to these places in the middle of nowhere, and that's delivered just right off the semi. And so there's all kinds of ways to get to these rural customers, but again, that's something that you have to be specialized in. You have to know kind of what you're doing. You can't just be a Tractor Supply and rely on somebody to come in for 1 or 2 bags. We service people all over the state of Oklahoma.
And Steve, I'm looking here at your website. Personally, I've got to ask you, have you ever thought about maybe putting a store in Kansas City? It looks like you guys have everything.
Yeah, we are trying to expand. We've got one store that we're going to be building here. Should close on the property here in the next few days, actually. And so we've got some more stores, but we're trying to keep them where we can, share employees and be able to have trucks that are able to be split and stuff like that. So Kansas City would be a bit of a jump, but maybe we can conquer Tulsa or something like that and work our way that direction.
Sounds good.
So if you're just joining us, we're talking to Steve Cook, owner of Cook Feeds and Outdoor, with 4 locations. He's servicing Remington Park down there at the very big racing track down there in Oklahoma City, along with the Lazy E and Guthrie. My compliments to you, Steve. Hey, appreciate the update on what's going on in the equine industry. Overall, the business is doing great. I know you guys are doing good. Thanks for everything you're doing out there. And in Minnesota, I'll let you compliment the Cargill gang, and appreciate you joining Better Horses.
Thanks so much for having me, guys.
And we appreciate everything you're doing. We're talking to Steve Cook, owner of Cook Feeds and Outdoor, and servicing farmers and ranchers and people in the equine industry for all of state of Oklahoma. Appreciate you doing that. Merle, I got to tell you, this is something really, really important that we have to get into. And speaking of right in the middle of everything and exciting things, we got to talk about state fairs that are coming up.
Yeah, it's no secret. Anybody that knows me knows I love a good state fair. It's maybe one of my favorite events. Ranks up right up there with Renfest for me. So I'm looking forward to our next segment.
Being in Kansas City, we can go to all the state fairs, but we got to let everybody know that the Missouri State Fair is coming out August 8th through the 18th in Sedalia, Missouri. And coming up next, and with us today, we have Dr. Carrie Wilson, the Executive Director of the Missouri State Fair Foundation. Carrie, thank you for joining Better Horses.
Thank you for having me.
So, Carrie, this is the biggest exciting thing that's happening in the state of Missouri, and you're a big part of putting it all together. So, talk to me, how is it going, and some of the big events that are coming up.
Sure. Well, and I'm a big part, I guess, of putting together the pieces from the foundation side of things. But and we are certainly busy here. The Missouri State Fair Foundation is a not-for-profit organization, and our purpose is to help raise funds to kind of fill in the gaps for our state fair here in order to make it great. And so, yes, everything is busy. There's all kinds of activity down here. People are setting up their tents, and the vendors are coming. And actually, the Missouri State FFA and 4-H Horse Show is moving in today. So we're going to have an exciting weekend, really kind of kicking off the events of the state fair will be that first horse show this weekend. So just lots going on.
I don't think a lot of people realize, and that's a very good point that you brought up, that the Missouri State Fair Foundation is very important about the operations of the state fair. And it's funded primarily by the state and by the government. And that's a big role that you're taking.
Right. Yes, the state fair, we receive excellent support from our state government, the legislative process, but there's still some gaps that things that just can't be covered by that state funding. And so the State Fair Foundation steps up and tries to raise those funds to just do the best that we can with the facilities here and preserve these beautiful old historical buildings, improving all the facilities across the ground. So yeah, there's a lot of things that we can do and that we do. We work really hard to raise those funds so that this can be the best state fair in the country.
I'm going to compliment our governor and future governors that are going to be elected this year. There's going to be a new building coming on board. You want to tag up on that one?
Sure. And you know, that's a project of the Missouri State Fair. So I'm kind of on the fundraising side of that. But yeah, we're really excited that the State Fair is going to get to break ground right away. Actually, during the fair, there'll be a ceremony to break ground on a new State Fair arena. And that's going to just be a beautiful new facility that hopefully will, over time, be outfitted to be able to host some really great livestock events. And then, of course, things like concerts and exhibitions. And there'll be a lot of exciting things to come. And I think that people can find that information on the Missouri State Fair's website as time goes along and as things progress with that. But sure, that's a really exciting thing that's happening right now.
You know, live music, family fun. It's got, to your point, you mentioned rodeos and bull riding coming out there. You've got tractor pulls that are coming in, and just a lot of demonstrations about agriculture and fine arts and everything that we do from a statewide perspective. Isn't it exciting for people who don't go to the state fair? This is something that they should experience at least once or twice, or make it an annual event.
Absolutely. We like to think that everybody should come and visit the Missouri State Fair at least once. But like you said, hey, you might as well come every year because every year there's something new. You'll have the old traditions. You mentioned the agricultural exhibits. This is the premier agricultural exhibit for the state of Missouri. So you can always find those kinds of things here. But then there's always going to be new and exciting concerts every year and free entertainment and different exhibits. So I think it would be pretty hard to get bored here. People just need to come check it out, and I promise they will find something that they enjoy doing. And besides that, can't beat the food. If you don't want to come for the entertainment or the exhibits, come for the food.
There is literally something for everybody there. I love the fair. I love the atmosphere. And it's also a big part of our agricultural history. I mean, like there's generations of families that come that have been to the fair for years and years and years, raising livestock, showing their livestock. And I think that's neat that you're preserving that history too.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the things that I personally love about it. And here at the foundation, we actually have a program where we support first-time exhibitors. So kids who have never had the opportunity to show their livestock at the Missouri State Fair, our foundation actually can help them with a grant to help offset the cost a little bit. But then we also just do a lot of mentoring and cheerleading for them. We try to go watch them show and just really help make it a great experience for their first time. So there is, like you said, a lot of those traditions out here around the fairgrounds, and it's really fun to be a part of.
Kerry, we want to thank you for jumping on our program and talking to us about the Missouri State Fair. That's going to be August 8th through the 18th in Sedalia, Missouri. And we encourage everybody to check out their website at MissouriStateFair.com. And we're talking to Dr. Kerry Wilson. Kerry, thank you for joining us. And we hope to have you come back. So in the next couple of weeks and give us an update. And we'll get into some real details of what the concerts are going to be all about and some real exciting things coming forward.
That sounds great. Thanks so much for having me.
Thanks, Gary. Well, I want everyone to stay with us. Now, we talked about it before, but we've got Mark Jenkins, and he's a professional horseman coming up to us and reporting from Cedar Island, North Carolina. And Merle, you're going to love this. We're talking about those European Spanish ponies that are out there, and they're very feral, and Mark's going to give us some details on that.
Great. That'll be good.
We'll be right back. Stay with us. I'm Ed Adams.
And I'm Merle Arbo.
And we'll be right back right after a word from our sponsors.
Hi, I'm Dr. Dylan Luter, a specialist in equine performance medicine at the Kansas State University Veterinary Health Center. Our new service focuses on lameness diagnosis, advanced imaging, physical therapy, and regenerative medicine for horses with injuries preventing them from performing at their best. We can treat a variety of conditions and design a customized rehabilitation plan to meet the needs of each client and their horse. Visit us at ksvhc.org, the Veterinary Health Center, to discover, to teach, to heal.
Hi, I'm Tommy with Heritage Tractor. Whether you're looking to maintain your yard or your whole ranching operation, Heritage Tractor has John Deere mower and tractor packages that make work fly by. With a variety of horsepower and attachment configurations, we have a package to best fit your needs and budget. To learn more about these exclusive packages, visit us in store or online at heritagetractor.com.
Legendary products, extraordinary service, that's our heritage.
Established in 1956, the Pinto Horse Association of America was formed to welcome all types of equines and maintain their show records and pedigrees. PTHA currently has over 88,000 members with 157,000 registered Pintos. There are currently 3 separate registries: the Color Registry, the Solid Registry, and the Long Ear Registry. We welcome all levels of competition within a family-friendly environment. Become a member, register, and add value to your horse. For more information, check out the website pintoworld.com.
Get quality you can stand on. Hoof Grip is the proprietary formula that provides shock absorption for your animals with no ice buildup, slipping, cracking, or sogginess, making it the safest, most comfortable, and maintenance-free flooring on the market. Hoof Grip installs quickly and easily over existing surfaces, is easy to clean, and withstands extreme heat or cold. From vet offices to barns, wash racks to trailers and more. Visit hoofgrip.com to find a dealer in your area today.
We're here for the hardworking, the resilient. We're for the people who measure their days by what needs to get done, not by hours. Where kids learn responsibility at a young age and generations work side by side. Where work doesn't pause for holidays or bad weather. It just gets harder. Where value and hard work means more than the clothes you wear. We're Kleinschmidt's Western Store, Higginsville, Missouri.
It's time to go with United Mosquito and Fly Control's premier fly system for fly control in your barn, providing relief for horses from the stress of fighting flies, and also makes a barn more pleasant for everyone in the barn. Easy, effective, and safe. With United Mosquito and Fly Control, we provide a full service. You as the barn owner don't have to do anything. We go everywhere and take care of everything with our friendly fast service. Call today at 913-558-3814 or email Paul at unitedmosquito.com.
And welcome back to Better Horses. We are so glad you stayed with us. And you know, I've been fascinated by the amount of clinicians that are out there. And in this next interview, I'm going to be talking to a gentleman that's really put his entire career in the equine industry. His name is Mark Jenkins. And you know, he has a simple philosophy to always keep the horse in mind, but he has this amazing ability to read horses and relay that information to the rider or the handler. And he's easy to understand, and he just narrows that gap between the horse and human. And what's really fascinating here with Mark is he's on the road, and he has really dedicated his life to the equine industry. So without further ado here, welcome professional horse trainer, Mark Jenkins. Mark, welcome to Better Horses.
Hey, Ed, it's really nice to be back. It's super cool. So great to see, great to hear from you. And and talk a little bit about horses and what we've got going on and what you've got going on. So,
You know, what's fascinating here is, let me tell our listening audience nationwide that you are actually located in North Carolina at a small island called Cedar Island. And tell us what you're doing there. You're doing something really, really special with some equine ponies out there.
yeah, we've got a few things going on right now. We actually gotten a phone call to come out to a facility that's actually kind of a big resort, and they've got some trail rides that people can go on, and they just asked us to come help evaluate some of their horses, help train some of their staff. And upon being here, we have really found kind of a golden nugget. I mean, it's just really cool because we're here on the Outer Banks of North Carolina on an island, and they have a band of wild ponies left over from the Spaniards. And so we've been educating ourselves on this band and the history on this band and how they all started. So we're working with some of the folks that are doing a lot of the, I guess you call it maintenance for the horses and just kind of overseeing them. They're protected by federal government. But then there's another island not too far away from here. This island's got a herd or a band of about maybe 15, 20. And the next one's got about 100 head. So we're going to go over and talk to them in a little bit too. So just amazing stuff. And then I think there's one more island, and we're going to go try to help them out too and just see what they've got going on. I can't wait to get it all out and have the series go on our social media stuff. And it's just an amazing trip. We've been here for about 2.5 months. As of right now, we probably got another month at least. Just amazing, Ed. It's just amazing.
You know, in North Carolina, they've got the Cedar Island National Wildlife Refuge down there where you're actually located. And these are Spanish ponies that have never been touched. Is that what I'm hearing down there?
Yes, that is correct. They have never been touched. At the moment, they do have 4 studs in the band or in the herd. And I think what they do is, and I'm still learning a lot of what they got going on, but they're trying to figure out how to best manage them, but nobody touches them. They're federally protected. And it's just an amazing situation. And I can't wait to get more in depth with all the stuff that they have going on and what we can contribute to help them, help the people that are running it. The horses literally will come right up to the back of the barn that's here at the facility. Not to mention a bunch of cows too that are all wild. And so it's really an amazing sight. You first thing in the morning, you got the sun coming up over the ocean, and here you got all these wild ponies right there on the beach. And a lot of times when we go out riding and we're working on some of these horses, we literally ride right through the band of wild horses. It's super cool. I can't just. It's going to be amazing when we actually get it out there for you guys.
You know, that's kind of exciting for everyone to know that the Hurricane Duran came in 2019 and, you know, was a storm surge of the island, but all those feral horses survived and they stayed put. And it's literally a sight to behold. In your experience with all of the equine horses that you've trained, is this any different than starting a new horse, or what is your challenges here?
Well, the main thing is the horses. Number one, the horses that we have that are here at the facility for the public that they can come and ride, just see this gorgeous setting right on the beach, sunset, sunrise rides. But interacting or figuring out a way to interact these horses that we have now here at this facility, and being able to navigate around some of the wild horses and have them be okay with that. But working with the folks that manage the herd has really been very educational for me. I've dealt a lot with some of the wild ponies, the BLM type horses out west, but this is a whole new thing for me, and it's just been amazing. The challenges is really just understanding the history of these guys, because we're not allowed to touch them. We're not allowed to round them up. That there's one time every year that they do some of those stuff just to make sure that the overall health and care of the horses are okay. But other than that, they're out. And you mentioned, Ed, that there was a hurricane that blasted through here not too long ago. And what's really cool is that these horses have been known to jump from island to island. And there's a slew of islands out here on the Outer Banks. And it's amazing how these horses have been able to adapt to get from, know that the weather's coming in, and they just are able to move around, just resilient and just unbelievable. The history, I can't wait to dig deeper into this, and I can't wait to share it with everybody else.
We're going to look forward to that, especially to give everybody perspective. Cedar Island is only like 4 miles long, give or take. I've been down there once, and it's been a very long time. So do you have to take a farrier? How do they get the horses back and forth? I know the wild ones, literally swim back and forth. How do you get your facilities over there?
Correct. The horses that are here at the facility that we're helping out, there is an actual bridge that was built, I believe, in the 40s. And if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong. It could have been the 20s. Again, I'm still just learning all the history here. But so as far as the horses here, we go back and forth over a bridge, and then we're on the mainland. So it's not that difficult for us. But as far as the wild ponies out there, those Spanish ponies are pretty cool. They can just hop from island to island. And the crazy thing is that a lot of the water here is very, very shallow. So maybe belly deep, depending on the wind and whatnot, but it's very easy for them to get from island to island. So it's really, really neat. We might see them for a little bit, for a week or so, and then they might be gone for a week, and then they'll be back again. It's just very cool, Ed.
Oh, it's very exciting. Mark, talk to us about what you're doing now. You kind of changed your business model a little bit where you hosted clinics, but you're kind of on the road now, and you kind of did a little road show. Is that a fair statement?
Yes, what we've actually got going on right now, which is really cool, and we put this into motion about a year ago. We still do some of the bigger clinics, and we've got schedules out there that show where our the next biggest clinic is going to be. But in the meantime, we really try to stop and help everybody along that route. So we may spend 2 or 3 months on the road between clinics, just stopping at people's homes and little hobby farms and people that are just getting started with horses and really try to help them out, understand the equine mind a little bit better. And that's really where I found my niche. It's, a lot of guys go out there and show and rodeo, and I did for a long time, but really my heart's in helping people and horses, because I feel like if I'm doing this more and more, I'm able to help more and more horses by educating more and more people. So the more horses other people get that I've been able to help, the more horses I'm able to help. The fingers just kind of go out from each individual that I help. We just had a great road trip up through the north Midwest and all the way across the Northeast before we landed here. We could talk about that later if we want. But yeah, we've really changed it up a little bit to where we're on the road more and stopping at more individual farms so that I can actually do one-on-one. A lot of times they'll get their friends that they trail ride with, or that they show ranch versatility or the local play days or whatever. And we really try to help those people that kind of fall through the cracks. And I don't ever want to leave anybody behind on our road trip. So we really space our bigger clinics out quite a ways. I think we're only got 4 scheduled this year. The bigger ones, all the time in between, we're helping people all the way along the line.
It's so good to know, because there are more and more people getting into the horsemanship and buying horses, and knowing that there's enough people out there trying to get them on the fast track of learning the behavior and being an advocate for every horse is really great. You have that ability to do that. So going forward, you're basically staying around, coming around the country. What do you see the biggest challenge is when you're coming into these people that are just getting started, or what do you see the biggest mistakes everybody seems to be having that you would like to articulate here on this show?
Well, I'll start with the biggest challenge is, and I kind of pride myself on this because I don't want to know. I don't want somebody to send me videos. I don't want somebody to give me a rundown on their horse. I just want to walk into it and see what we got going on from my own eyes, assess the situation, come up with a game plan, help educate the people, and interact with them and their horse, show them the possibility that it can be done, and help them, guide them through the process of them actually doing it themselves. So that's one of the big things right there and to be honest with you, I don't really have a whole lot of challenges in this because of the fact that I love it so much.
if you had to walk away with some of the common mistakes everybody assumes or makes when it comes to horses that you'd like to communicate to everybody, and there probably isn't just one, but what do you see a common improvement all of us can do?
That's a great question, because one of the biggest things that I run into on almost a daily basis, especially when I'm on the road, leapfrogging from place to place, is that the lack of groundwork that I see. And the reason that that's so important, and the reason that it is an issue that I try to address every time, is because so many people are, they're under the impression that they might have saw this horse, seen this horse ride in a video, a sale video, or they saw it at the local auction and the horse rode, and they don't really know a whole lot about horses. And then they get the horse home and things might not turn out real good for them. And then they get really frustrated and get disappointed, and they almost on the verge of saying, maybe horses aren't for me. And that's where we come in and we say, wait, don't give up yet. Let me come help you. Let me give you some tools to put in your tool pouch, and let's get you going on the right track. The cool thing about it is that we don't just end with when we drive out. It's always follow-up calls. So we'll end up leaving them with a little bit of homework after the 2 or 3 days that we've been working with them. And then we'll call them back in 3 or 4 weeks and say, how's it going now? And pretty much for the most part, 99% of them always say, you know what, if I would have known this a long time ago, this would have made my life a lot easier. So yeah, I mean, that's about it. I can't argue with my life. I can't argue with my profession. This is just a blessing from God, and I love every minute of it.
I think that's great, especially when you talked about foundations and the fundamentals of clinics, but groundwork is so important. You've been doing this for a very long time. Now you're talking to all the new clinicians that are coming up. How do you stay mentally healthy in doing this? This is kind of like, you don't get a lot of, accolades doing what you're doing. So how do you keep as positive as you are, and what's the secret behind all that?
Well, my big thing is a lot of times with the bigger clinics, I can understand where somebody could maybe feel like they start getting burnt out a little bit. And I feel like it's always so formatted. It's always, we're going to do this, we're going to do this exercise, and that exercise. And that I can understand that does get very repetitive. And that's why when I started doing, I'll give you an example. I did a big clinic up in Wisconsin, and it was a 2-day clinic. By the end of the second day, we were doing the same thing over and over, but yet I saw so many little things that I could have helped with, but because we were on that schedule and everybody's there for a certain thing, that it just felt like there was all these little things that we needed to address first before we can move to this, to the next step. And so by getting on the road and doing the things that we do now and seeing all the different personalities and situations and circumstances that people and horses are in, that is really what keeps my mind going, and it keeps my mental health good and solid, because I'm always looking to see what the next horse can teach me. And by doing that, then I'm able to, by listening to that horse, I'm able to teach the people and instruct the people better, because I've got so many different scenarios instead of just sticking to one format, to one program. I'm just there to help, whatever the issue is. We use your tack. We use, obviously we've got ours, but we use your stuff, the stuff that you're going to be left with when we leave your trailer, 2-horse, big stock, slant, whatever. We're going to work with whatever you have at that place. And that really keeps me sharp, because I don't have the ability to get into a routine with each and every horse. So I really got to focus on working with each horse. So my advice to anybody that's up and coming, keep striving, man. If it's your passion, keep doing it. The reward is unbelievable.
Mark, that's great. And if you're just joining us, we're talking to Mark Jenkins, reporting live from Cedar Island, North Carolina. I can't tell you how much we appreciate you joining us and coming on board. And if you wanted to get a hold of Mark and see more about what he's doing, I encourage you to go to his website at markjenkinshorsemanship.com. Mark, I also believe you have a really good Facebook page, and we're looking forward to seeing those videos right there in Cedar Island with those Spanish ponies.
It'll take a little bit, but we'll make sure it gets into production as soon as we possibly can. And it's just a bunch of gathering videos, but I hope that you guys enjoy all the highlights and all the raw footage as well. I can't wait for you guys to see it.
So, Merle, if this doesn't make you and I want to head over there to Cedar Island, North Carolina, I don't know what will.
That would be neat to see. I get a little bit of a vision of Misty of Shankateague, and the ponies.
I'm going to use that line. I want to thank Mark Jenkins for doing everything he does for the equine industry, traveling like he does. I mean, it's really, really fascinating. And with that in mind, we also like to thank our radio producer, Brianna Johnson, and our TV producer, Kelly Creech. And you know what, Merle? We've got our summer edition coming out with the Better Horses newspaper.
Yes, look for it in all your local feed stores.
So with that in mind, I think that's it. We had a good show, and we're going to wrap it up. So we want all of you to be good buckaroos and buckarettes. Mind your mom and dads. Be brave, but don't take any chances out there. Until next time, I'm Ed Adams.
And I'm Merle Arbo.
Happy trails, and always ride for the brand.